What's up, Sons of Montezuma? SDSU versus UCLA this Saturday, 4:30 Pacific on CBS. Coach C is here to join us and tell us how to beat the Bruins. All right, Aztec Nation, welcome back to another episode of the Sons of Montezuma podcast. It's your host, Mateo. You can find me at Mateo San Diego, and of course, you can find us on Twitter at Sons of Monty, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on the YouTube, because today we have, once again, a new week, a new game week with Coach C, Coach Carrasco. Gotta get it right. He is back. He is our resident football coach here, a former staffer on the Aztecs, and of course an Aztec for life. Coach C, how are you doing from the Las Vegas area these days? What's going on, man?
I'm doing good. 2-0. So happy about that. We talked about that at the beginning of the year, that we really wanted to get into week 3 facing a Pac-12 team at 2-0. And still going through growing pains, that's for sure, but you can't deny 2-0 is 2-0. You take it and you just move on. And so I'm looking forward to this third week, that is for sure, but excited about the 2-0 start.
So it is our third home game in a row, third game of the 3-game homestand to open up the season. The Aztecs opened up with a victory over Ohio, and like you said last week, beat Idaho State. You know, me talking with the guys on the regular podcast this week, you know, you want to throw away the tape. You want to just do away with it because you feel like it's not going to serve you against UCLA. It's a very different team, very different style of play. The attitude of our guys is probably going to be heightened. Do you think the Aztecs are do you think they're kind of hey guys, brush it off. We got the win. Let's move forward.
I hope not. I hope that they are looking at tape, and I know they are, of course. As a coach, as players, it's a whole different type of approach to this thing. You love every win you can get. Those guys work hard over there, and sometimes we get caught up on the team that we're playing, or as far as fans are concerned, what they should be an easy walkover. And you never want to have that mindset as a player. You never want to have that mindset as a coach, ever. You want to be focused on yourself and you executing based on what you see. You never throw away tape. There's always something that you can learn, and it has nothing to do with, well, we're not going to see this the next week. No, what you're doing is you're always self-scouting yourself. Was that the right call? Did we execute it right? Can we execute it better if we see this look again? And you don't let the helmet and the name that's on the jersey change who you are and how you're supposed to execute something. So whether it's Idaho State that's in a 4-2-5 look, or if it's a UCLA that's in that same 4-2-5 look, you don't change who you are and change the way we want to execute counter, zone, a hitch, a dragging concept. You don't want to change that. What you want to do is you want to make sure that, hey, we can execute counter better than any team in the country, no matter what you throw off and give us. And whatever you put and present in front of us, we have an answer to the quiz. We have an answer to every test that you're going to give us as far as the answers are concerned. And you want that. And so you always use previous tapes, previous games, even from last year. It just doesn't matter. You want to make sure you develop a habit and a consistency that we can execute no matter what's in front of us. So I sure hope they don't throw that film away. There was some good stuff that we're going to show tonight on film. There was good stuff from the Ohio game that even when it wasn't successful, you use that and you go over it and say, hey, here's some wrinkles we need to iron out this week. And so we'll be showing tonight a little bit of that, where there was an Ohio play that we utilized, didn't work. I saw it and I got fired up because I knew this would be a play that we would come back to. And we ran it against Idaho State, and it gave us a score, which was good to see because you use that.
With Ohio and Idaho State, okay, these games were not the normal teams that we usually play. They're teams that are kind of off the radar for the most part. Now we got to play UCLA this week. And it brings back all the thoughts of the Pac-12, all the shakeup in conference realignment this year, and just what a mess it has sort of left San Diego State in. So this game could be, pretty bitter for us Aztecs fans, knowing that these guys are coming down into Snapdragon Stadium we're going to need a home field environment, a home field advantage to get over these guys. But for the guys on the field, a lot of these guys went to high school together. A lot of them, maybe played in other colleges together with the transfer portal. Now they find themselves in different destinations. Our performance last week, I don't think is going to be as indicative in this week. I think they're going to show up and play against some of their peers and really bring some more added intensity and a different attitude towards this week.
UCLA, it's always good to beat the Bruins, that's for sure. We've never liked them. I remember when I was a student, and boy, we had them coming into our park in the year before at the Rose Bowl. We played them tough. And we really thought, all right, this is our year. We got Marshall Faulk, we got Darnay Scott, we got these guys that can, Lowry's our quarterback. We got some returners, and we had a lot of hoopla with it. And boy, they really thumped us really good. They controlled us. And sometimes you can get caught up. And we had built that game up so high, sold some special T-shirts that week. And I won't go into what was said on those T-shirts, but we were so hyped for that game. And sometimes you can overhype something and you really end up creating a giant when you don't need to. These are your peers. Don't look at it. None of those guys at UCLA, I can't remember one guy that played on that team, but yet on our side of the field, we had a future Hall of Famer in Marshall Faulk. We had guys that were NFL bound. Yet that whole week, we really acted like the little brother. And then it showed up. And I remember watching that game, and UCLA just did the simple, and they executed their game plan. They didn't do anything fancy. They just played football. They focused on playing the game of football the way it should be. And sometimes you get caught up with who you're playing. You start thinking more about winning and how you win, how you look when you win, rather than just executing the play. Focus on what your job is. And whether it be a run play, pass play, whether it be a zone coverage or a man coverage, whether you're doing a stunt, whatever it might be, you just focus on what you're supposed to do. And I don't care what's on the side of a helmet, what color it might be, or what kind of tradition they might. Bottom line, that's another 18, 19, 20-year-old on the other side that you're looking forward to just outperforming for that day. And that's what matters, is that Saturday comes Saturday, the Idaho State game, the Ohio game, the year, way back in the dinosaur days when I was going to school at San Diego State. That doesn't matter. And what UCLA has been able to accomplish in the past, or what we've been able to accomplish in the past, it doesn't matter nothing. You do your job, you get the things that you need to get fixed, focused on football, and whoever executes better. They're going through their struggles too. They didn't have a very clean game, if you will. And I'm sure they're disappointed, thinking that they should have really ran Coastal Carolina out of the Rose Bowl with ease. And Coastal Carolina came to play. That was a close game going into the fourth quarter. And UCLA is going to say, well, that was because of our mistakes. Maybe so. But you know what? You got to take advantage of the mistakes. And at the end, they did. UCLA did. We got to be a team that takes advantage of whatever mistake UCLA ends up committing. And then we just got to be one where just got to clean our execution. They made mistakes. And I know they're disappointed, even though they came away with the win. So are we. It's going to be a fun game. I think we got a good shot at this thing, and it's not because, there's UCLA and, it's just that. No, we're a good football team. That's why we got a good shot, and we know how to win ugly.
Well, talking about winning ugly, I can't wait to get to this game film. And right now, I just want to give a shout out to IMD. They are a commercial vehicle wrap company here in San Diego. Coach, have you seen our new vehicle, our van, our Sons of Montezuma tailgate vehicle? You probably haven't seen it yet, have you?
I gotta see this. I need a ride in that thing.
So the good people down at IMD, they took care of us. They are known for doing a lot of vehicle wraps and other kind of graphics there at San Diego State, and they took care of us really good on our vehicle. They gave us our graphics for advertising on the side of our vehicle. So if you have a company, give them a call at 619-663-5811. They are down in the Chula Vista area, and they are big time Aztec supporters, and like we said, do a lot of work for the university on campus. And I believe they do the big equipment semi truck, which is always awesome to see when you're driving down the freeway. So definitely check out the Sons of Montezuma, our vehicle at the tailgate in the yellow lot down by the river park, in our van down by the river, Coach. It's awesome. It's got the big logo, real big on the side of the van. So they took care of us. Definitely got to give them their shout out. They do great work. imdraps.com. All right, let's get into some film because I'm excited to see what you've been talking about UCLA and our opportunity that we have this Saturday. All right, so what are we looking at here?
All right, Aztec Nation here. We're going to go ahead and look at a play from 2 weeks ago. And I saw this play, wanted to go over it last week. We just didn't get enough time because I knew right when I saw it, I made a little footnote in my head as well as making notes on my little paper there that I said I knew this was going to be a play that we're going to come back to. We just didn't execute it correctly. What you have here is we have a 3-by-1 formation here. We've got a tight end, so that's the strong side with the 3 receiver set on the weak side. And quarterback is looking, and as an OC, as an offensive coordinator, you want to see how they're lining up against this look. I call this tray right. I call this a Russian tray right because the tailback is to the right side in a gun formation. And we're going to run quarterback counter here. The point with this sideline view that I want to bring out to our fans is this is the free safety right here. He's all the way over strongly to the weak side, hinted to the weak side. So really what you have, we'll count this guy as a corner. He's really a linebacker guy, but we'll count him as a corner. That makes that the Sam. That makes that guy the Mike. Here is our Will. And then one of the safeties walks down right here to cover the number 2. And then you have your corner. And so with the free being all the way over, there is nothing from this point forward. And so Coach Lindley gives a great call, calls a quarterback counter to the strong side. I call it king when you're running counter to the strong side. And you're going to see how close it gets from the sideline view that it doesn't go nowhere. But then we're going to see an end zone view from this shot right here. So Jalen does a good job of carrying out the run fake, gives his boys a chance to pull. And there is a hole there, but nothing happens. But like I said, a 2-yard gain. And you're like, oh, my goodness, And when I saw this, I'm like, oh, it was that close. And there were some mistakes that I witnessed right away. I'm like, all right, those are easy mistakes for a coach to clean up. So we're going to go ahead and chalk this up for the fans and explain what is counter, how is it supposed to be performed. Now, this end zone view is great because that free safety I talked about is standing right here. And there is nothing behind this way. And what we have is we have a left guard and a left tackle that's going to be pulling. But when you're running counter, you always want to know who are the 2 guys on the end that these 2 gentlemen are in charge of, which is going to be this number 4. We call him the force. And then the play side linebacker. Tight end has got a one-on-one matchup with that edge guy. And then these 2, I'm talking the left guard or right guard, and the right tackle, they're going to combo here to the Mike. So you really want to seal this, and these 2 guys really are the most important block. They want to establish a wall. You want to block down, crush this 2 technique all the way down, and then let this guy peel off to set up this wall. Center is going to go ahead and hinge to the weak side 3 technique here to cover him, and then the fake by the quarterback is going to hold this defensive end. Guard here, our left guard is going to pull. He's in charge of kicking out the force. And our number 2 pull man, in this case here, our left tackle, he always wants to read that block. And an ideal situation is that he can come underneath and he's eyeballing number 32. What we teach our running backs when you're running counter, or in this case, a quarterback who's playing as the running back, we want him to run off the edge of this tackle and inside this guy. Well, there's a little confusion here. We don't run it cleanly here in week 1 versus Ohio. Going to run the play, get that crush down, and you get this pull here, and that's our guard where Mike, his job has been made easy. He's running away with the play, and look at the size of this hole that happens from that. Unfortunately, our tackle overruns the play, so does Jalen, and you end up with the 2-yard gain, and it's not as clean as you would like it. I'm going to run that back one more time just to see it again. We're going to focus on this edge, and you're going to see our left tackle, he's just going to overrun it. Instead, he should have been pulling up. As soon as he sees his guard, kick that guy out. He wants to turn upfield immediately, and he wants to search out that number 32. So we should be seeing 70, his number, coming into this hole. There's the wall being built right there, and you want that 70 to lead the hole, kick this guy out, and Jalen should run right through that. And again, there's that safety. He's the last resort. We have this wall that's built nicely bar front, and right now we just need our tackle to read it, play like a running back, read this block, come to this hole, annihilate this 32 and erase him, and then 32, he's going to high step that thing for a nice 34-yard touchdown. Instead, it doesn't get executed very well. We do a little bit of hot sauce dancing because he's trying to read the blocks right. And you're like, and upstairs as a coach, you're like, oh, it was right there. So you make a little footnote for yourself. The footnote that you make for yourself is for the next week's ball game. And here it is, Idaho State. And it's a little bit different situation where it's not a 3-by-1. We got 2 backs in the backfield, but we're going to run quarterback counter again. Different look defensively. This is giving the option here. Lenny's giving the option that, hey, you can either give the sweep or you can go ahead and keep that counter. It's kind of a run, RRO. That's 2 different run calls called, and the quarterback has the option. But one of those run calls is definitely a quarterback counter. Something that they worked on during the week. Here we go. Jalen keeps it. And this time you see 70 pulling up nice. He's coming. He's reading. He's going to let his guy kick out. And he's going to pull and be that lead guy. It's still not perfect. There's still certain things that we want to clean up because you want to run through that A gap. But Jalen reads this nicely, lets his gentlemen do their job. This is the number 2 guy that number 70 is eyeballing. He wants to go ahead and erase him. He ends up taking himself out of the play. The hole is nice and big, and San Diego State can enjoy their very first touchdown of the game. Saw that, and right away I thought of the Ohio game, and I said, oh, they cleaned it up. And that's the role of the coaches. That's the role of the players that, hey, here's a play, a real important play. Coach, it went for 2 yards. Yeah, it's an important play because if we can just iron out a wrinkle here, iron out a wrinkle there, the potential of what this can do for us is big. It's major, and it produced our first 7 or 6 points in this particular game in a real big way. Unfortunately, we don't got the end zone view out of that, but that was just something that I saw, that this is how important film is for coaches and players to see that. And when they come around the next week and you execute it and you score, it really starts helping you out to really believe that, hey, what coach is trying to teach us, these things can work, but everybody's got to do their job. Great job by the quarterback, great job by the O-lineman for getting what needed to be fixed, got it fixed, and they produced points for us against Idaho State here.
Really cool for the fans to see it too, because we're so hung up on throwing the ball, but Jalen has got that big body and that quick speed that he can make plays like this happen. That's a weapon to have, and it's good to see that they're using it. Coach Lindley's using it, and hey, he scored a touchdown on it. Okay, now we're coming into UCLA. I want to see what we're up against because this game, I want this game.
I always want to beat the Bruins of UCLA, that is for sure. And it's just something about this Southern California thing that you want bragging rights for sure. But bottom line here, coming to the game come Saturday, we got to be thinking from the very beginning is pressure. This team, this defense of UCLA, they want to bring pressure. They're very big on third down pressures here. We see a 3rd and 9, and we're just going to go over a few of their pressures here and looks. And for the average fan, it's like, how in the world do you block this? That just looks like a bunch of gold helmets, and they're trying to cause as much confusion as possible, and they're trying to confuse these big boys here in the front so that they can get to this quarterback right away. And an obvious passing down, 39. And UCLA does a great job. They just have a gauntlet of all these types of pressures, but none of them are calculus level. For coaches, for an O-line coach, for an OC, and hopefully for the quarterback and the O-line, you look at all the looks, you develop a game plan from all of them, and they should be easy fixes for us. They're doable. And I'm not going to say we're going to have an easy time with it. Absolutely not. These are tough questions that are presented to you, and you got to have an answer. And so what we're going to see from our Aztecs, hopefully, is just high execution of just no matter what you throw at us, we have an answer for it. And so if I have 6 protectors for this guy, I want to know right away, do we have enough men to cover any kind of pressure that they bring? And so what I always look at from the box is right away, if I see 2 safety high look, I know numbers wise, we have the right amount. Okay. We have enough amount that if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys that they are presenting with one A gap linebacker showing he's mugging this A gap here, I should have enough with 6. Now, you got to have your boys do their job, and hold their own and do what they got to do to give our quarterback time so that he can let a route develop. Because if you get beat and he has to get rid of it soon, then it's just a matter of you getting beat. That's not a scheme thing. That's basically our player just got beat thing. And so here, looking at this, the quarterback, what we want to see from our guys is a quarterback that's fully under control, that can make sure everybody's on the same page when it comes to protections here. And so, as an example here, if the center and the quarterback are on the same page, the center could be saying, all right, I got this A gap pressure guy. Along with these 2, I'll be working with these 2. And then the running back here, he can be eyeballing a potential blitzer here, what we call a dog. Linebackers are called dogs. The cat pressures are from the DBs, and either a fire from a free safety or storm type of pressure is from a strong safety. Those are kind of little nicknames that we use when we're trying to describe what kind of pressure came when you're coming off the sideline. If it was a weak side cat, every time you're on this hash, especially in college, he is always a potential. And so the running back always has to be aware of that, especially if he's saying, all right, if this guy drops and this guy comes, my eyes need to go immediately. You can't be somebody that you got to do your homework here. So nothing too hard, all right, unless they didn't do their homework. And so they're going to come, and sure enough, they're going to bring an extra guy so that running back comes. And so it's covered. They got what they need to. It wasn't that big of a deal, but someone gets beat and makes the quarterback throw a lot earlier than when he wants to, instead of hitting this guy for the first down. And so their numbers were right. They just got beat. For our Aztecs, make sure your numbers are right. Make sure you're communicating on the exact same page. Don't stress out over the pressures. For a quarterback, he sees 2 safety high look. We should be just fine. All right, make sure everybody knows what their job. Always remind the running back here, I need you dual reading on this side, telling the center where we're on the same page. You got the mic, you're dual reading to another side pressure. As long as you're on the same page and then everybody does his job, you allow the quarterback to finish his footwork and deliver an easy hook flat concept here that should have went for a first down for Coastal. But they didn't get it done. It's a nice job by this defender to go for no gain, and you end up kicking a field goal rather than giving yourself another 3 downs. All right, here's another 39 situation aspect. Same thing. They love bringing pressure. These third down pressures, they're really big on. And again, just because you don't sack the quarterback doesn't mean that it's not a successful pressure. Pressure is meant to get that ball out of the quarterback's hand right away so that your eyes that are in the secondary can go ahead and make a quick tackle. That quarterback decides to hold it because he's not too sure where he wants to go, and you get a sack, all the better. That always fires up a defense. The key is, do we have enough numbers up front? And now here, again, I see 2 safeties here. That means linebackers are all mugged up, but if I see 2 safeties here and all that, then I know I should have enough. Again, with 6 guys, maybe I tell this guy you're staying in. Maybe. So you're looking at the numbers and you're like, all right, we got the numbers. Now, does everybody know what they're doing? If we're working the running back to these 2 or is working these 2, then these 3 can be the responsibility of these 3. Then these 3 from here, here, and here, these 3 can cover. You might get a chip if you want to, but as a quarterback, we got the numbers. Is everybody on the same page? You want to establish that. And that's something that you really, San Diego State, I'm sure, is spending a lot of time this week as a team and a squad, because they say, hey, this defensive coordinator, he's going to bring it. So again, does it mean all of them are coming? No, not necessarily. So sure enough, you get 2 to drop. They do a great job of not letting anybody free, but they do a horrible job of getting beat. So your numbers are there, but now it's just a matter of, is your technique right? You got a guy where he's now running for his life. quarterback does a good job of just kind of throwing some hot sauce there in the pocket, frees himself, you know, and gets the first down is what he does. But again, we're going to give you, UCLA saying, we're going to give you these bodies. We're going to mug the A gap. We're going to show that we're bringing it. Sometimes we're going to drop, and sometimes we're going to bring the whole house. For a quarterback, you don't panic. Do we have the numbers? We got the numbers. Is everyone on the same page? Center, you got this guy. You're working with this half. Running back, you're dual reading this side. And you take it from there. And then if everybody does their job with good fundamentals, it should be something that we should be able to handle.
That was an issue talking about Idaho State, that we didn't have any of their film. And yeah, it's only one game for UCLA, but it's something. So this is what we got to go off of, all their blitz heavy pressures. It's good to see this film and be a little prepared.
Yeah, and again, 39. And so what am I expecting from a coach that likes to bring pressures? I don't care if it's a soft look, you know, something's going to happen. And what we have in this, you have your 4 down linemen, but you have the weak side linebacker that comes and walks to the edge. You have your Mike linebacker here, and we call this guy Sam Nickel. He's a Sam backer, but he's really a DB that's just replaced the Sam backer, and he's the nickel is what he is. But he's the Sam backer as far as the offense is concerned. He's just a different body is what he can do and all. And you got this safety help with these 3 right here. But as far as a quarterback is concerned, it's 39. Are they bringing pressure? Yeah, they are. But is it pressure we can handle? And right away, you can tell, right, with the 2 safety high look, we got enough because here's 4. Here's the 5th guy, a weak side linebacker that's walked up. And if that was the tailback's man from the very beginning, then that's not a big deal for him. If the tailback's responsibility was over here, that's fine too. That just means that these 2 gentlemen are responsible. The center, right guard, right tackle, they're responsible for those next 3 right here. Again, you always want to be aware of any cap pressure. DB's playing way off. Quarterback can do a quick check on that. Sam Nickel here doesn't look like he's bringing any pressure. This guy might be showing that he's walking up. But for the fans, what is going on through a quarterback's mind as he's going through his cadence? What is going on through the OC's mind? What are they doing? What kind of pressures are they trying to bring in this situation? Because you want to make footnotes of those. And right away, because the OC knows what the pass protection call is, he should know, okay, we got this covered. Let's hope everybody does their job. And sure enough, they bring that 5th guy, and they do a decent job. Could be better. But you do a decent job, and if you give the quarterback protection, we can get these guys. But you've got to make sure that you're taking care of business up front. That is for sure. 3rd down pressures is what UCLA is all about. There's nothing funner for an offensive coordinator to see his work that he prepared his team all week to feed a certain pressure. They bring that pressure. You picked it up beautifully, and then you execute the play. Boy, does that feel good in the box. That is for sure. You high-five your boys, and it just really helps the confidence of your players that, you know what, coach is presenting towards us for the week. It's working. He anticipated. There's a great anticipation, and that's what we got to do this week.
Yeah, I definitely don't remember them being such a exotic, pressure heavy defense. But I don't watch a lot of UCLA. They're definitely not a team that I watch a lot of.
If you're not crossing all your T's and dotting all your I's as an offense, O-line wise and quarterback wise, on pass protection, which to me is the most important foundation in any offense. Because average quarterbacks that have great pass protection can produce like good quarterbacks. Good quarterbacks that have great protection produce like great quarterbacks. And if you have a great quarterback who has great protection, then lights out, you can beat anybody in the country. And so I don't care how good a coverage is. And so that's why, to me, pass protection is the very foundation of every offense, right from the very beginning. And then from there, the run game and so forth.
Okay, so talking about the offense, let's look at UCLA's offense. They're kind of peculiar to me. They've got a few different quarterbacks that they've used already. And I believe the youngest of them is like a 5-star. He's very highly decorated. And so I saw him come in this game. And yeah, he made some things happen against Coastal. Who are we looking at here?
Yeah, this is interesting to watch UCLA because it kind of reminded me of what we went through last year as an offense where, we had some struggles on offense. And the quarterback play at times had its ups and downs. And, we'll go with the new kid at quarterback. And, you were hoping that was a fix. And UCLA kind of went through that during this whole game. Here it is, getting close to the end of the second quarter. And UCLA's got 7 points. And I'm sure they were getting a little antsy. And their starting quarterback, kid named Garbage, really was having some moments where it looked pretty good. And then he had some moments where the offense was really sputtering. And, of course, Coach Kelly felt like I think they needed a change of pace. This kid comes in, true freshman, Dante Moore. He was ranked number 2 in the ESPN 300 in the recruiting class coming out. So he's big time. And he came in, and you talk about making a splash, this kid. He comes in, and he reminded me his throwing style is a lot like Jeff George, for those that are old enough to remember Jeff George, where he has a slingshot of a sidearm throw. Footwork is almost identical as Jeff George. He can run, of course, a little better than Jeff George, but as far as his delivery is concerned. But one thing that was impressive about this Moore kid, just really threw with fearlessness. He went in there, recognized, all right, I'm going to attack right from the beginning. And he's going to present an issue here. He's going to come back, got a nice pocket, doesn't feel like he needs to, panic because he's on the move, and he delivers a real nice tight ball and makes this play. And then the very next play, he's feeling pretty good, moves the chains. And then the very next play, he's going to come out, again, reads it, uses his feet really well, sees from his perception or his peripheral, hits his tailback. And before you know it, just like that, in 2 plays, he comes in his first drive and sparks the offense, And kid is, when you're a 5-star quarterback, number 2 out of 300 coming out of, high school, well, that's going to raise some eyeballs. The kid comes back and throws a deep touchdown in his very next drive. And like 3 plays, there's 2 touchdowns just like that. And so there's right away, that's going to grab your attention here. He's good. But what we can do is a lot of what we're good at on defense that I really feel like, it's going to be a fun matchup, a real fun matchup. And it's going to be a tough matchup for a true freshman quarterback. I don't care, 5-star, whatever you are. I don't care where you're from. I don't care where you're from, how high touted you are. San Diego State defense takes pride on just basically disguising and bringing pressure against any quarterback. And this Dante Moore, yeah, we better be ready for him, but he better be ready for the San Diego State defense too, for what we're good at. And the way you defeat a kid who's a true freshman is that, yeah, you better go ahead and beat him with disguising coverages really well. You don't want to give any easy hints for this kid. You want to make him hold that ball a little bit longer than what he's used to. And hopefully he can make that true freshman mistake that you all can take advantage of. And then you really want to have good eyeballs on the back of those pressures that you do. Coastal Carolina here does a good job here of disguising a pressure. It just looks like they're in a regular front, and there is absolutely no hint whatsoever. You got a 2 safety high look, you got eyeballs and all that. And so they really do a good job of really bringing this thing late. And they come with what we call, I used to call it a cross buck, where both my inside linebackers are coming, and they get this line where they weren't ready for that thing. They waited to the right before the snap of the ball. The true freshman makes a true freshman mistake and just throws it straight to the DB. Got rid of it sooner than what he wanted. Really bad foot mechanics, and he just flings the ball up for grabs. And, that's what freshmen would do, a true freshman. I don't care how many stars you got behind your name as far as a recruit's concerned. And he sees it, oh boy, and he just flicks it up in the air. That sidearm delivery. And if you have the eyes on the ball, he's going to see the ball. And he's like, oh, here we go. And so San Diego State, this is something we've always been good at. And they're struggling offensively too. They've had their struggles offensively. So what we want to do when a team is struggling offensively, you want to make sure that they have as many or as little possessions as possible, because it's one thing to struggle on offense, but you're hoping that you can get a bunch of possessions just to get these things fixed. When you're talking 10 possessions a game, it can be really frustrating if you have a few of them bad. Here again, you got a free inside pressure guy. Again, disguised really well, not showing any heat whatsoever. It's a 3rd and 7. And this is a big play by Coastal because this really should have went for a touchdown. He comes in, he deflects the ball. If that thing gets through, this receiver is going to make a catch, and you got 3 Bruins here. They're going to clean up this action, and there's nothing. This guy is taking that thing to the house, and it's going to be an easy wide receiver screen for 7 points for UCLA. But again, you disguise the pressure. You got on the quarterback real quick, and the ball gets deflected. And it's a great play by the defense. And that's something we're going to have to do come this Saturday against UCLA. And to me, it's right up our alley. And you know, their offense that had their moments, they know the San Diego State, what their expertise is. Bringing pressure, disguising looks, having veteran-type defenders in the secondary that take advantage of almost every little mistake a quarterback comes. You float that ball up a little bit too much, we're going to have eyes on the ball. And, man, it's just tip my hat off to the defense because it just seems like they always find a way to put points on the board for us, you know, and that's what we're going to need come Saturday. The way we got to attack them on defense is that they had 6 times that they jumped off sides, you know, and so they're kind of itchy. So when you're a team that wants to bring pressure, like they want to bring pressure to our quarterback, sometimes they can get a little itchy. And so a lot of hard counts, get them to jump off. You know, it also shows what kind of pressure, who's coming, who's not coming, you know, and for Jalen, he's a veteran quarterback. So you want to utilize that. Coach Lindley, as a former quarterback, you want to help out your quarterback. And how do you help them out? Well, you help them out with the protection. Well, how do you help them out with that? Hey, we're going to go on 2 on this. Give it a good hard count. Let's see who nudges forward as far as, especially when they want to mug those 2 linebackers inside where one takes a step back. All of a sudden that helps out the center. Oh, he ain't coming. This guy's coming. All right, that linebacker's actually dropping. And it gives that quarterback a chance to really recalibrate where he wants to go with the ball. And it gives your O-line and running back to collaborate and get on the same page. All right, now we got a quick little hint what's coming our way. And we can go ahead and set this thing up. And then be prepared if you do go on a hard count and they jump. You know, I guarantee Chip Kelly was on their boys' case all week about 6 offsides. Are you kidding me? And we want to test that. Let's see how hard you worked on that. If it means you slow up a little bit, great. If you jump, let's have a play ready for it. And so those are the little things that I'm going to be looking forward to come Saturday. Are we practicing those little things? Are we taking advantage of those little things? And if we can protect, boy, our offense has a chance to get on, you know, another level as far as executing the way we need to execute. We're not there yet. But, you know, it's early in the season, and I really know we can get it, you know, where our coaches are good enough to get them to get to that point for sure.
Kind of funny, both teams sound a little similar to each other. Defenses both bringing a lot of pressure and different looks and packages. The quarterbacks are both physical, have ability to sling it, but also escape out of the pocket. I think one thing, you know, our defensive line got caught with their hand in the cookie jar a few times offsides, falling prey to those snap counts and whatnot. So that's something they got to improve. But yeah, I feel like I would think the Aztecs would be a little more dedicated to the run, knowing that they want to get that 300-yard rushing total mark. We're almost unbeatable when we get that many rushing yards. Of course, that's a ton. So, you know, that's no surprise. How do you see this game going, man, as far as philosophy-wise, Aztecs facing against the pressure of UCLA, but then also this talented offensive group that they have with their freshman quarterback?
Yeah, I like our chances. I'm not saying I'm guaranteeing anything. I'm not going to ever do that because anything can happen. But I like our chances. I see a lot of areas where UCLA is undisciplined. Got some hot heads on that thing, and we got to be the cool cucumbers coming into this game where we're just focused on executing. And when you have a young quarterback, again, talent is great, but when you're young, you're gonna make some mistakes, especially when you're not used to seeing certain looks. And I think with the experience that we got, you know, coaches proving as seasoned as our coaches are, as far as, all right, iron out little wrinkles here and there, little by little. You know, defense always finding ways to get possessions back for our offense, the ability for us to run the ball, you know, as well as with the quarterback, as much as with the running back is concerned. UCLA is going to come into this game a little bit different. They're going to see film and they're going to say, all right, let's stop the run and force this quarterback to beat us with his arm. And so for San Diego State, that's the reason why I'm going over so much pass protection, because you got to know that for the rest of the season is going to be the defensive game plan. So you might not see as many pressures. You might just see them, let's drop 7 and make this quarterback beat us, but most likely what you will see is a safety come down in the box, because we are such a run heavy team. They're going to want to bring an extra guy in the box to stop the run. So that's going to make a couple of things happen. That is, you're going to get a pretty predictable type of coverage with the single high look, whether it be man or whether it be a cover 3 look. And also potential for more pressures because there's more guys in the box is concerned. So if our O-line and quarterback can really get a sound approach and be ready for protecting Jalen so that he can go ahead and take advantage of any coverage thrown at him, yeah, he can do things with his feet, and we're going to need that. That is for sure, especially when they're bringing the house on certain third down pressures. If Jalen gets out of there, that has the potential to go the distance. And I know that's going to scare UCLA defensive corner. We cannot have Jalen running free in our secondary because he has the ability to get that thing and take it the distance. But at the same time, their priority number 1 is we got to stop the Aztecs from running the football and getting that 300 yards like you just said. And so Lindley and the offensive coaching staff have to be where we got to find our 5 favorite passing concepts that match Jalen really well, that are married perfectly for the type of run plays that you want, and make sure that you execute those from perfection. Keep it simple, play sound football. Don't give any freebies to a quarterback where you're committing turnovers and all that stuff. Make them have to drive. And this is what you're going to see from Coach Hoke. He does a good job of this. You got a young quarterback, and we just crossed your 50-yard line, or we just, we're inside your 45-yard line. Instead of going for it on 4th and short, yeah, I might go ahead and punt that thing and make this kid have to drive, a whole 80 to 90-yard drives on that. Make him have to execute 12, 15 play drives and all that, instead of letting him be the home run kid. And that's what we saw in this game against Coastal. He had a few home runs, and then after that, he really kind of okay, you can see his youth as far as that's concerned. And don't know if he's going to be starting against us. It could be Garbers. He's more of the veteran type. This is going to be a road game for them, so they probably start Garbers and just see how he does his thing. And again, that shouldn't change our character and our personality on what we do defensively. But offensively, I think if we can protect Jalen, I think we're going to be okay. I really do. I think we're going to have a chance to just kind of have some sustained drives, muscle them a little bit, and don't be worried that it's UCLA on the side of their helmet. You know what? We're a good football program. We're 2-0, but more than 2-0, we've been to a few bowl games ourselves, and we represent Mountain West. It's a proud conference. It's a good conference. We're no joke. And Pac-12 is going through their whole growing pains now and can't figure things out. But that includes the teams, too, outside of USC, and that's because they got an incredible quarterback. But outside of that, there's a lot of, who are we? And that's what UCLA is going through right now. There's an identity deal that they got to figure out. Are we this new quarterback? Are we this or that? And we don't need to get into that. We just need to recognize who we are. Let's be physical with this team. Let's make UCLA know. You come to Snapdragon, you're going to feel the Aztecs. And that goes from the offensive side of the ball as well as the defensive side of the ball.
A victory against UCLA would do wonders in this new stadium to these San Diego fans, to remind everybody who the Aztecs are, who they've been, and really show us where they want to go the rest of this football season. With a gauntlet that's coming after this at Oregon State, who looks to be really, really sharp with their quarterback and their defensive play. And then back home on a Friday night, a short week against Boise. And then you got, who is it? Air Force, I believe. After. But yeah, it's a pretty tough stretch from here on out. It's going to show us real early what this team is made of. This UCLA game is not win or die. It's not a must win. Still have a good season after.
We got a quarterback that can run with physicalness. He's got nice touch on the ball. He's a great kid, delivers a pretty ball and all that stuff. And we've always had that defensive mindset that we just love being the alphas when we're on the football field. And that same mentality has to be done with UCLA. Don't be intimidated by, the baby blue and gold and all that stuff, and the name is concerned. They're same age as you. You go in there and you hit them in the mouth, and boy, you keep hitting them in the mouth. And if they get one on you, fine. Let it slide off like water off of a duck's, feather of a duck, and you just get them again. And you keep hitting them, and I'm telling you, this team has a chance to establish something. But more than that, I just want to see them find their identity, and I think if they do in this game, then we win this football game, honestly, because I see UCLA and us kind of in the same boat, trying to find out that rhythm, that we need offensively, trying to find out what we are. What we have, I think, is a little bit more ahead than them. I think our defense is more established. I like what we have on all three levels. And our quarterback's more established, obviously. And I like our O-line. I like our running backs. And so take advantage of that. And, man, swing for the fences when it comes to, taking the approach that we're here to win this football game. Not play just a good game. We're here to win because we know we can win this game. And you better not make a mistake, UCLA, because we have the kind of guys that can take advantage of that. You better not make a mistake. And that's the kind of mentality you go on with this football field. And when the fans see that from players that expect to fight the Aztec way, that really starts developing a mentality where the fan base comes with that mentality that this is our home and everybody together, we're here to brawl in the football sense. We're here to brawl, that you will feel the Aztecs. You will feel the football team and its presence physically. You're going to feel how well they execute. And then you're going to feel the fan base that we are behind these guys, whether it's an ugly win or a sweet, good-looking win. Doesn't matter. We like winning. That's bottom line. We like to win. And if it's a 6-3 win or a 60-30 win, well, we just like to win. Sure, we would like it to look a certain way. But right now, there's a ruggedness to the San Diego State Aztecs that has brought a presence to the Mountain West that everybody in the Mountain West knows. You can't play a sloppy game against San Diego State. We've established that. And so UCLA better have that same mindset. And us and our players, they got to have that mindset. You better not play a sloppy game, because we will take advantage of that, where you're always looking for those little cracks and those little windows to take advantage of. And that mindset, you bring that on the football field. That's how you start off developing where, okay, there's a rhythm to this thing. I hit you hard, I'm going to hit you hard in this next one. Clean, of course, but that's what I really enjoyed about San Diego State football. Sure, I missed the air raid of back in the day with, what I was like when I was a student and all this stuff. But boy, as a coach, I see power, I see counter, I see a lead, and you see that linebacker on the opposing team go down on his rear end and that running back step on his chest and take it in for a touchdown. Boy, that fires me up, because that's an attitude right there. That's something. And that's what Aztec football has come to be known for and all that. And as soon as that passing game really starts delivering, then now you're looking at defenses like, ooh, do I really want to bring some pressures? You probably see some screens from us this week. Teams that like to bring pressure, the way you attack it, slow up that pass rush. Some quick, nice little screens here and there, and draw plays as well. But I just really want to see us physically make a statement against these guys. I really do. Because to me, all right, Pac-12, here's what a good left hook feels like from the Mountain West, from San Diego State.
Coach, I appreciate your time and your excellent clinic, I want to call it, going over the film study here and showing us a couple things about UCLA. There's no excuse. There's no reason why these two teams shouldn't be playing on a year-to-year basis. San Diego and LA. Maybe one day. We'll see. All right. Well, on behalf of Coach C's, Mateo San Diego saying, go support our NIL shop. We got a lot of new players coming down the way with their designs. Definitely want you to support their merch. And look out for more. All right, guys, let's get the Bruins this weekend. Saturday, 4:30, Snapdragon Stadium. I'm sure tickets are still available. Go get them. And you can find us in the yellow in the yellow lot, the van down by the river park, on the grass. Come find us. We'd love to talk some football with you guys and yeah, get Aztec Nation going before this game. sonsofmontezuma.com. Go Aztecs.
Go get them Aztecs.
I'm an Aztec warrior.
Grind.
Yo. Just win, baby.